This is your marketing news for the week of March 4th, 2026. This week we have 3 stories, and when you put them together, they're all saying the same thing. The way marketing budgets get allocated is about to change. First, we'll look at ChatGPT's major move in advertising. Then we're going to look at a new tool from Google that basically hands you the kind of budget intelligence that used to require a data science team. If you've ever felt like you were guessing on how to allocate your ad spend, this fixes that challenge. And then we'll wrap up with Meta just announcing yesterday, March 3rd, that Meta ad reports changed their UI, and you don't want to miss a few things. Let's go. Our first story, ChatGPT advertising just opened up to a broader market, and first impressions of the conversion data looks impressive. We covered ChatGPT testing ads back in our January 27th episode when OpenAI first announced the pilot. At that point, it was big holding company agencies, Dentsu, Omnicom, WPP, getting their clients in early, a relatively close test. This week, that changed. On March 2nd, a company called Criteo announced it is the first advertising technology partner to integrate with OpenAI's advertising pilot inside ChatGPT. If you're not familiar with Criteo, think of them as one of the major pipes of digital commerce advertising. We're talking 17,000 advertisers, over $4 billion in annual media spend flowing through their platform. So when you plug into ChatGPT, that's not a test anymore. That's the broader ad market getting access. Criteo pulled data across 500 U.S. retailers in February, and users who arrived at retailer sites from LLM platforms like ChatGPT converted at 1.5 times the rate of other referral channels. 1.5 times. Think about what that means. People who find a product through a ChatGPT conversation are already further along in the buying decision. They've been asking questions. They've been getting recommendations. By the time they click through to your product page, they're not browsing. They're ready to buy. And that's the strategic point here. Search advertising has always been high intent, but ChatGPT discovery might actually be higher intent because the user didn't just type in a keyword. They had a whole conversation that led them to you. You don't have to wait for the pilot to open up to start preparing. Go into Google Analytics today and look at what referral traffic you're already getting from ChatGPT. It's probably already there, already converting. Getting eyes on that number now means you have a real baseline when the ad inventory opens up and you're making budget decisions. This is still a pilot. US only, ChatGPT free and go. But the direction is clear. Conversational AI is becoming an ad channel, and the brands paying attention right now will have a head start that matters. Our second story in marketing news this week, Google just removed the last excuse for not doing marketing mix modeling. If you've heard of the term MMM, marketing mix modeling, and thought, that's for big brands with data science teams, Brandon, Google just took that excuse away. On February 19th, Google launched Scenario Planner, a no-code interface built on top of Meridian, their open-source marketing mix modeling platform. Marketing mix modeling is how you figure out what's actually driving your revenue, not just what your ad platform dashboard tells you. MMM looks at all of your channels together, paid, organic, offline, seasonal factors, and tells you how much each one is really contributing to sales. Most of us in marketing have been making budget decisions based on what the ad platform tells us is working, but the ad platform has a vested interest in that answer. MMM is an outside view. It looks at what's actually moved revenue across everything without the platform bias baked in. Teams that run MMM regularly often discover that the channel getting all the last click credit wasn't doing the heavy lifting, and the channel they were underfunding, that's where the real lift was coming from. The problem's been that you've needed a data science team to run it. They need to know Python, R, regression outputs that only an analyst could interpret. Most marketing teams don't have the luxury to have that person, so the MMM stayed a big brand luxury. Scenario Planner changes that. It's visual, code-free. You can shift spending across channels and instantly see projected ROI. Stress test your media mix before you commit to a budget and run these scenarios on an ongoing basis, not just once a year when the data is already stale. Here's the number that frames it. Nearly 40% of organizations struggle to turn MMM outputs into actionable decisions. according to Harvard Business Review research Google cited in their launch. Nearly half of the companies have the measurement data. They just don't do anything with it. Scenario Planner is built specifically to fix that. And look, big brands like Urban Outfitters and Shopify are already using Meridian. These aren't experimental adopters. This is mainstream now. The bigger picture here is something worth noting. Google's Meridian and Meta's Robin are both open source MML tools. Both companies are now building UI layers on top of them so that marketers can use them without needing a PhD. That's not a coincidence. As cookies continue to decline, measurement is becoming the moat. Whoever controls your measurement framework ends up influencing your budget. Something to keep in mind as you adopt these tools. Our third story in marketing news this week, Meta just changed how your ad campaigns get credit, and you need to update how you read your reports. Meta is changing how it reports click-based attribution. Starting later this month, the old click-through attribution bucket is getting split into two. Here's what that means. Right now, when someone shares your ad or likes it or comments and a friend clicks through later, Meta counts that as a click-through conversion. Same bucket as someone who just directly clicked your ad link. Not anymore. Going forward, Meta is creating a new category called Engage Through Attribution. This catches all the social native behaviors, shares, likes, saves, bookmarks, comments, and attributes conversions that came through those social actions separately from direct click-throughs. Direct clicks to your landing page? Still a click-through. Social sharing that drove a later conversion? Engage through. Why does this matter? A few reasons. First, your metrics are going to look different on paper. If you don't understand why, you might think your campaigns tanked. They didn't. The attribution is just being split out more accurately. Second, this actually gives you better data. You'll be able to see for the first time in a clean interface how much of your performance is coming from social amplification versus direct response. And that's a distinction that matters, because if half of your conversions are coming from shares and saves, your best creative strategy looks completely different than if people are clicking straight through. One says build content worth spreading, the other says build a better call to action. They're both different. Third, Meta noted the updated click-through definition will now align more closely with how Google Analytics counts clicks. That's actually meaningful. It means cross-platform attribution comparisons finally start to speak the same language. When you open your Meta Ads Manager in a few weeks, your numbers are going to look different. Not because your campaigns changed, because how they counted changed. Know what's going on when you see this. And zooming out 30,000 feet here, Meta and Google are both pushing their own MMM tools while simultaneously tightening how they define attribution. That's not a coincidence. The platforms are reasserting control over the measurement conversion, something worth keeping in mind as you adopt their free tools. So this week, ChatGPT just opened up to 17,000 advertisers, and early data says the people who arrive from an AI conversation convert better than almost any other channel. Google just handed every marketing team a budget modeling tool that used to require a data science degree, and Meta changed how your ad results get counted, starting this month. The through line is this. The measurement layer of marketing is being completely rebuilt. The marketers who understand what's being counted, where, and why are going to out-allocate everyone else. You can have the same budget as your competitor and still win, if you know about where it should go that they don't. That's what this week is about. Your 3 marketing moves this week based on the news? 1. Go check your Meta Ads Manager reports within the next 2 weeks. When Engage Through Attribution rolls out, baseline where your numbers are right now so you can accurately compare before and after. 2, if you're running any e-commerce or retail campaigns, put ChatGPT referral traffic on your radar. Pull your LLM referral channel in Google Analytics and look at the conversion rate. You might be surprised what's already there. And 3, set aside one afternoon this month to log into Google's Meridian Scenario Planner. It's open beta, it's free, and if you've never run a marketing mix model, this is the easiest on-ramp you'll ever get. That's your marketing news for the week of March 4th, 2026. Your marketing move.